Robot Framework is a popular open-source automation framework used primarily for acceptance testing and robotic process automation. RPA. It provides a simple and readable syntax for automating web applications using libraries such as Selenium library. Below is a detailed guide on various key concepts and functionalities in Robot Framework, each explained with code examples. 1. Introduction and environment setup in Robot Framework. Introduction. Robot Framework is designed for both acceptance testing and RPA. Its primary strengths include its simple tabular syntax, extensibility with libraries, and support for keyword-driven testing. Environment setup. To start working with Robot Framework, you need to set up your environment. 1. Install Python. Robot Framework requires Python. Download and install Python from python.org, https://www.python.org/downloads. 2. Install Robot Framework, bash pip install Robot Framework 3. Install Selenium library, bash pip install Robot Framework Selenium library 4. Install a WebDriver, for example, to use Chrome, download the Chrome driver and ensure it's in your system's path. 5. IDE setup. You can use any text editor or IDE, like VS Code, to write Robot Framework test cases. VS Code has a dedicated extension called Robot Framework Language Server. 2. First test case in Robot Framework. Here's how to create your first test case in Robot Framework. Robot settings library Selenium library variables $URL http://example.com browser Chrome test cases open browser and verify title open browser $URL a browser title should be example domain close all browsers settings defines the libraries and resources to be used. Variables defines variables to be used in the test cases. Test cases contains the individual test cases. 3. How to handle input boxes in Robot Framework. Handling input boxes involves locating the input element and sending the desired text. Robot settings library Selenium library test cases handle input box open browser http://example.com Chrome input text ID equals search box Robot Framework submit form ID equals search box close all browsers input text inputs the specified text into the input box identified by the locator. 4. Select radio buttons and checkboxes in Robot Framework. Robot Framework allows selecting radio buttons and checkboxes easily. Robot test cases select radio button and checkbox open browser http://example.com Chrome click radio button ID equals radio 1 click checkbox ID equals checkbox 1 close all browsers click radio button selects a radio button identified by the locator. Click checkbox toggles a checkbox identified by the locator. 5. Drop-down and list boxes in Robot Framework. You can interact with drop-downs and list boxes using the select from list and related keywords. Robot test cases handle drop-down open browser http://blazdemo.com Chrome select from list by value name equals from port Paris select from list by index name equals to port 3 close all browsers select from list by value selects an option from a drop-down list by its value. Select from list by index selects an option from a drop-down list by its index. 6. Waits and timeouts in Robot Framework. Handling waits and timeouts is crucial for stable test execution. Robot Framework provides various keywords for this purpose. Robot test cases handle waits and timeouts open browser http://example. Chrome wait until element is visible ID equals sum_ID tens page should contain element ID equals sum_ID close all browsers wait until element is visible waits until the element identified by the locator is visible or the timeout is reached. 7. Close single and multiple browsers in Robot Framework. Closing browsers in Robot Framework can be done with the close all browsers keyword, but individual browser sessions can also be closed. Robot test cases close browsers open browser http://example.com Chrome open browser http://example2.com Firefox teardown close all browsers closes all open browser windows. Close browser closes the current browser. 8. Handle alerts and frames in Robot Framework. Handling alerts and frames requires specific keywords provided by Selenium library. Handling alerts Robot test cases handle alerts open browser http://example. Chrome click button ID equals alert_button alert should be present. Do you want to proceed? Accept alert close all browsers accept alert accepts the alert dialog. Dismiss alert dismisses the alert dialog. Input text into alert inputs text into a prompt alert. Handling frames Robot test cases handle frames open browser http://example.com Chrome select frame ID equals frame 1 input text ID equals input box inside frame unselect frame close all browsers select frame switches context to the specified frame. Unselect frame switches back to the default content. 9. Handle tabbed windows and browser windows in Robot Framework. Handling multiple windows and tabs is common in web automation. Robot test cases handle windows and tabs open browser http://example. Chrome click link ID equals new_tab_link switch window new tab title should be new tab title close all browsers switch window switches to a window with a specific title or index. Close window closes the current window. 10. Browser related keywords in Robot Framework. Some of the most commonly used browser related keywords include open browser opens a browser. Close browser closes the current browser. Close all browsers closes all browser instances. Go to navigates to a specific URL. Maximize browser window maximizes the browser window. Set browser window size sets the size of the browser window. Capture page screenshot captures a screenshot of the current page. Summary Robot Framework is a powerful tool for automating web applications, providing a clear syntax and extensive library support for common tasks such as handling input boxes, radio buttons, checkboxes, drop-downs, waits, alerts, frames, and more. By setting up the environment correctly and understanding the core keywords, you can efficiently create robust test cases that are easy to maintain and understand. Here's a detailed guide covering various advanced functionalities in Robot Framework, each explained with code examples. 1. Capture element and full page screenshot in Robot Framework. Robot Framework allows you to capture screenshots of specific elements or the entire page using the Selenium library. Capture full page screenshot robot settings library Selenium library test cases capture full page screenshot open browser http://example.com Chrome capture page screenshot full_page. PNG close all browsers, capture page screenshot, captures a screenshot of the entire page and saves it as full_page.png. Capture element screenshot robot test cases capture element screenshot open browser http://example.com Chrome capture element screenshot ID equals logo element_screenshot.png close all browsers, capture element screenshot, captures a screenshot of a specific element identified by the locator and saves it as element_screenshot.png. 2. Mouse operations in robot framework mouse operations like hovering, double-clicking, and right-clicking can be performed using Selenium library. Mouse hover robot test cases mouse hover open browser http://example.com Chrome mouse over ID equals menu_item close all browsers, mouse over, simulates hovering the mouse over an element identified by the locator. Double-click robot test cases double-click open browser http://example.com Chrome double-click ID equals button close all browsers, double-click, simulates a double-click on the element identified by the locator. Right-click robot test cases right-click open browser http://example.com Chrome click element with offset ID equals element 00 right close all browsers, click element with offset, right-clicks on the element identified by the locator. 3. User-defined keywords in robot framework user-defined keywords allow you to create reusable and modular test steps. Example, user-defined keyword for login robot settings library Selenium library variables $username, user $password pass keywords login to application, arguments, $username, $password input text ID equals username $username input text ID equals password $password click button ID equals login_button test cases test login open browser http://example.com Chrome login to application $username, password. Close all browsers, login to application, a user-defined keyword that encapsulates the login steps. This keyword can be reused in multiple test cases. For scrolling page using JavaScript executor in robot framework you can use JavaScript for scrolling operations in robot framework. Example, scroll to bottom of the page robot test cases scroll to bottom open browser http://example.com Chrome execute JavaScript window scroll to 0 document.body. Scroll height, close all browsers, execute JavaScript, executes JavaScript code to scroll to the bottom of the page. 5. How to work with for loop in robot framework loops in robot framework can be used to iterate over lists or range of numbers. Example, for loop with list robot test cases loop through list at fruits, create list apple banana cherry for $fruit, in at fruits, \log $fruit for a loop structure to iterate over a list of items. \log logs each fruit name during the iteration. 6. How to count and extract link texts in robot framework you can count and extract all the link texts on a web page. Example, count and extract link texts robot test cases count and extract links open browser http://example. Chrome at links equals get web elements path equals / a log number of links $len at links for $link in at links $text equals get text $link \log link text text close all browsers get web elements retrieves all the anchor tags. Get text extracts the text of each link. 7. How to handle web HTML table in robot framework handling HTML tables involves extracting specific rows or cells from the table. Example, extract data from table robot test cases extract table data open browser http://example. Chrome $rows equals get web elements path equals / table at ID equals table_ID /body /tr for $row in at rows $calls equals get web elements path equals $row /td name equals get text calls 0 $age equals get text calls 1 log name name age page close all browsers get web elements retrieves rows and columns from the table. Get text extracts the text of each cell. 8. Data-driven testing using script in robot framework data-driven testing allows running a test case multiple times with different input data. Example, data-driven testing using variables robot variables at user data, user 1 pass 1 user 2 pass 2 user 3 pass 3 test cases data-driven test, template, login test case at user data, keywords login test case, arguments, username, password, open browser http://example. Chrome input text ID equals username username input text ID equals password password click button ID equals login_button close all browsers template defines the test template for data-driven execution. 9. Data-driven testing using Excel and CSV files in robot framework supports data-driven testing using Excel or CSV files via the RoboXLSX or RoboCSV library. Example, data-driven testing using Excel robot settings library Selenium library RPA, Excel files variables $Excel_file users.xlsx test cases data-driven test using Excel open workbook $Excel_file data equals read worksheet as table header equals true for $row in at data \login to application $row username $row password close workbook keywords login to application arguments username password open browser http://example. Chrome input text ID equals username username input text ID equals password password click button ID equals login_button close all browsers open workbook opens the Excel file. Read worksheet as table reads the worksheet data into a list of dictionaries. 10. Database testing using robot framework database testing in robot framework can be done using the database library. Example, database testing robot settings library database library variables $db_name, my database $db_user, a user $db_password, a pass $db_host, local host test cases database test connect to database pymysql $db_name, $db_user, $db_password, $db_host, result equals query select asterisk from users where username equals test user should not be empty result a disconnect from database, connect to database, connects to the database using specified credentials. Query executes an SQL query and stores the result. Should not be empty, validates that the result is not empty. Summary: this guide covered several advanced functionalities in Robot Framework, including capturing screenshots, performing mouse operations, creating user-defined keywords, handling loops, counting and extracting linked texts, working with HTML tables, implementing data-driven testing, both script-based and using Excel/CSV files, and performing database testing. Each functionality is crucial for building robust and maintainable automated tests. Here's a detailed guide on various advanced features in Robot Framework, including setup and teardown mechanisms, test grouping with tags, implementing the page object model pattern, parallel test execution, headless browser testing, and integrating Robot Framework with Jenkins. 1. Setup and teardown in Robot Framework. Setup and teardown are mechanisms to run specific actions before and after a test case, test suite, or test level. Test case level setup and teardown robot settings library Selenium library test cases test case with setup and teardown setup open browser http://example.com Chrome teardown close all browsers title should be example domain setup executes before the test case runs. Teardown executes after the test case completes regardless of the outcome. Suite level setup and teardown robot settings library Selenium library suite setup open browser for suite teardown close all browsers keywords open browser for suite open browser http://example. Chrome test cases test case 1 title should be example domain test case 2 title should be example domain suite setup executes once before all test cases in the suite. Suite teardown executes after all test cases in the suite have completed. 2. Tags and grouping tests in Robot Framework tags allow categorizing and filtering test cases for selective execution. Tagging test cases robot test cases test with tag 1 tags smoke title should be example domain test with tag 2 tags regression title should be example domain tags labels the test case with specific tags like smoke and regression. Running tests with specific tags you can execute specific tag test cases using the command line bash robot ismoke test / ismoke includes only test cases with the smoke tag. 3. Page object model POM pattern in Robot Framework. The page object model POM is a design pattern that enhances the maintainability of test scripts by creating an object repository for web elements. Example, login page object login page.robot robot settings library Selenium library variables $URL http://example.com keywords open login page open browser $URL a Chrome enter username arguments $username input text ID equals username $username enter password arguments $password input text ID equals password $password submit login click button ID equals login_button test case using page object robot. Settings resource login page.robot test cases test login with page object open login page enter username user enter password mypass submit login title should be dashboard resource imports the login page.robot file containing the page object. 4. Parallel test execution in Robot Framework. Parallel test execution can be achieved using Pabit, an open source tool for parallel execution with Robot Framework. Installing Pabit bash pip install Robot Framework Pabit running tests in parallel bash Pabit processes for output the results test / processes for runs tests in 4 parallel processes. Output the results specifies the directory where the results are stored. 5. Headless browser testing in Robot Framework. Headless browser testing allows running tests without opening the browser GUI, which is useful for CI environments. Headless Chrome example robot settings library Selenium library variables $browser_options headless test cases headless test open browser http://example. Chrome options equals add_argument $browser_options title should be example domain close all browsers headless an argument passed to Chrome to run in headless mode. 6. Jenkins integration in Robot Framework. Integrating Robot Framework with Jenkins involves setting up Jenkins to run your robot tests as part of the CI/CD pipeline. Basic Jenkins job configuration 1. Install Robot Framework plugin in Jenkins. Go to Manage Jenkins - Manage Plugins - Available. Search for Robot Framework and install it. 2. Create a new Jenkins job. Go to New Item, name the job, and select Freestyle Project. 3. Configure the build. In the Build section, add an Execute Shell step. Use the following script to run Robot Framework tests. Bash robot d results test /4. Publish Robot Framework reports. In the Post Build Actions, select Publish Robot Framework test results. Set the output directory to results. 5. Run the job, save the configuration and build the job. Jenkins will run the Robot Framework tests and generate reports. Summary, setup and teardown, useful for running specific actions before and after tests or test suites. Tags and grouping, helps in categorizing and selectively running test cases. Page object model, POM, enhances maintainability by organizing web elements into page objects. Parallel execution, improves efficiency by running tests in parallel using Pabit. Headless testing, enables testing in environments without a GUI, which is particularly useful in CI pipelines. Jenkins integration automates the execution of Robot Framework tests as part of a CI/CD pipeline, providing automated reporting and continuous feedback. These concepts help in building scalable, maintainable, and efficient test automation frameworks with Robot Framework.